I wanted to look at the different photo editing applications that I've got on my iPad. I'm going to look at each one individually. We've already looked at photos, so now I'd like to look at iPhoto. iPhoto connects to your albums and to your events in your photos. So you can choose things that you've done recently, like my photo stream or your camera roll, and the edited photos are always stored separately. You can see in the top left corner the edited one. I'm going to go into my photo stream and have a look. Tap once. And now I can scroll up and down through the photos that I've got. Once I've chosen the photo, I can now edit it. Top right hand corner, there's a button for edit. So what do I want to do? Bottom left corner, crop. So now I can crop this object. If I just touch those edges, I can pull those edges in. I can pull all the edges in if I like, squaring up my photo. I've also got this kind of neat protractor down the bottom here, which I can use to square up my image. So you can see there I can use it to square up the image a wee bit. I was on an angle when I took this, so it's never going to be perfect. But at least you can use this protractor to straighten up your images that are crooked. Next we have the exposure. So this is the raw exposure, which we can play with. We can make the scene lighter, or we can make the scene darker. This one, these two, are the contrast. So as you move them further apart, you're increasing the contrast. When you move them closer together, you are reducing the contrast. Now you only need to move one of them. I've only got a finger on one of those, and you slide it to change the contrast. This is the darkness. In other words, you can emphasize the darkest parts. This is the lightness. So you can bring the lightness down. So it kind of cuts off all the really highlights. Or if we bring it up, it'll emphasize some of those highlights. We can play with color tinting. So that's increased the yellow. Ooh, not so nice. Increase the red, decrease the red, and so on. You can undo your changes by pressing that button. And now I'd like to look at this option. We're going to come back and look at these in detail, because these are repair is like a heal tool. We can soften areas, sharpen areas, lighten areas, and so on. These are our effects. So we can do things like paper edges, hatchy edges, and so on. Let's go back to that. So tap down the end, and we can make it black and white. Sepia, black and white. So back to that. We can do artistic changes to it. So this has made the top fuzzy, the middle in focus, and the bottom fuzzy as well. So we can do things like make it look like it's sort of handmade a little bit. This button here has given a darkness to the top of the scene. Really useful in a landscape scene where you want to emphasize the darkness of the sky, or you want to redden the sky, or you want to blue up the sky. And this has darkened all the edges like a vignette. It's darkened the corners of the page and lightened the middle of the page. Now by pinching my fingers together on the page, I can change that vignetting. I can change the options on it. So as I pinch my fingers together, you'll see that the whole thing becomes closer, very dark on the edges, much brighter on the middle. What about if I do the sky and I pinch my fingers together? You can see I'm gradually moving my thumb down, moving the sky down. If I move both fingers up and down, you can change them both, and also by twisting my fingers I can change the angle of it. And turn right round. Better undo some of that because I don't really want to save it. I've now committed that change. So let's go back to my effects. What have we got here? Auto enhance, so it'll automatically try and fix the scene. We've got the rotate, flag it, make it a favorite, or we can add tags to it. So we can type things like this place was called the station. So I can edit that tag. So it has a tag called the station on it. So if I want to look for my photos and I look for the station, it will find this photograph. The button on the end of my settings, so I could, if I want to, revert to the original. All changes have been put back. I can copy the exposure, color and effect, I can paste it onto another photo, and so on.